Okay, so welcome to the technical session for the Toronet Hackathon. My name is Emmanuel, and I'm developer advocate for techFiesta, which is the platform where the Toronet Hackathon is being hosted. On Monday, we had an ideation session, and it was very interesting. And I feel this is also another session where we get to know about the technical stacks of Toronet. And also, there's been a lot of questions being asked in the techFiesta Telegram community. Oh, how do we do this? How do we connect to the test net? This is actually an avenue to ask and also get more insight about that and more insight about building. So I'm welcoming our speakers, Dr. Ken and also Wenhai Li, and I'll be giving them the microphone to take the floor and take us on this technical session. Welcome, Dr. Ken. Welcome, Wenhai Li. It's nice having you here.
Thank you very much, and welcome to all the developers that are online. Like you said, there's been a number of questions that we've been seeing coming to the Hackathon Telegram. I was hoping that many of those people will come here to ask those questions, but since it's recorded, I suppose many of them can also watch it later. We have a presentation which Dr. Li prepared, both of us actually prepared it, and also with some of the devs in our team. And so we're going to go through some of those presentations now, and then we'll leave questions for the end. So, Dr. Wenhai, yeah. You can go ahead, please.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, can anyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, so today's presentation is try to let the Toronet developers to be aware that what kind of tools, what kind of resources they have, okay, to kind of make their development easier on Toronet. So this is the outline of the presentation. So we are talking about that many tools we have here, and we will go through them one by one, okay. And in the very beginning, I would like to emphasize some difference between Toronet and the traditional blockchain, okay, and also give you some technical details. So I think this will be useful for you when you try to develop some applications on Toronet. The first thing, okay, the block time for Toronet is 5 seconds. That means that every 5 seconds there will be a new block generated, and the size of the block, okay, is as you can see here, it's almost like 1 billion. Okay, it's comparing with the Ethereum. We do have a much larger block size. So that means that for a single block, okay, one block can handle much more transactions than Ethereum. And also, we do not have any gas fee. Okay, so the transaction fee actually is built through the smart contracts. For example, if you use Toro, so we do have a system-wide transaction fee set for the Toro. If you use some other token, okay, other currency, they may have different transaction fees there. Okay, so this is more like a traditional financial bank, how the fee is collected for the transaction. And the reason we do this is because that we know that like a blockchain like Ethereum, the gas fee is super high, and also due to that, if someone mine a new block, right, the reward is also very high there. So we do not have all this issue. So by removing all this, by removing the gas fee, by removing the the reward for mining a new block, so we can actually make some we can relieve some limitation, okay, of the traditional blockchains actually. Another big one difference is that actually if you are familiar with some blockchain like Ethereum, you know that the maximum size, the bytecode size allowed to deploy on Ethereum actually is limited. Okay, they will not allow you to deploy a single smart contract in a single bytecode, a single file. Okay, if it's too big, they will not allow you to do that. We do not have this kind of on our blockchain, I will see that we will allow that you can directly deploy a very large smart contract, there should be no problem. Actually, right now we allow like 64 times than the size limit of the Ethereum. So yes. Any question?
Now, sorry, one thing that I wanted to add, because we are talking about the principles behind what we built into this chain, is to say that we're comparing, because many people are familiar with Ethereum, but it's also true even for some of the other chains like Solana and Tron. Now, let me say this, right? Some people might think, okay, fine, Solana has lower fees, but the fact is those fees are denominated in the blockchain's native coin, right? Just like Ethereum. And what happens with that is, let's say you build on it and you are paying the fees and you think, okay, the fees are small. What happens is those fees are not constant. So like Ethereum now, in 2021 at the peak, the fees was up to like $9 just for a simple transfer send. You're just sending Ethereum from one person to the other. It's about $9. So that means like if you set up anything, you're making a payment, it will be up to $9. Now, it was a little bit cheaper on Solana, but what we're seeing now is that the next peak, Solana its value is going to go high, and the fees will start to be significant. And what we know is that in the African region, fees of that nature cannot be accommodated if you want to do real business. That's why these blockchains are not amenable to doing serious business. So that's why we crafted a whole different chain on our end. Fine, we did make it EVM compatible, but while making it EVM compatible, we did not adopt some of those limitations, which is what Dr. Li has here. But the reasons behind this are business reasons, because we are looking for something that will succeed in the African context. And not just in Africa, in any of the underbanked environments, because we have projects now from different parts of the world.
Okay, so I think Dr. Ken added some good points here. As Dr. Ken already mentioned, okay, all these features that we show here, right? Just want to make the blockchain, our blockchain Toronet, right, to deploy some commercial application, right, to use blockchain for the real enterprise applications, make it easy for them. So that's why we make all these functionalities on. Make all these functionalities available on the Toronet. Okay, so after the overview, we will go through that, what the tools are available, okay, which they are all free to the developers. So first thing, let's talk about the blockchain explorer. We do have a web-based blockchain explorer. So this is the traditional stuff, very similar to other blockchains. We have the explorer for both mainnet and testnet, so you can see the URL here. So we can do traditional things here, like to monitor what the latest blocks and what the transaction there. If you know the address, right, you can use the address to check the balance. And if you know the transaction ID, you can also to query the transactions. So this is the regular stuff. So the purpose of Explorer is that we provide a tool to make all the data on the blockchain transparent and also easy to be accessed. We also have a wallet. We have two kinds of wallets here. We have a web-based wallet, for both mainnet and testnet. So the interface here, the screenshot you see here is actually allow you to log in with an existing, if you have an existing address, or if you want to create a new address. There's a small, you can see there's a small font here on the bottom, right? If you want to create one, you can just click that one, you can create a new address. And after you create a new address, or you log in with an existing address, so this is the dashboard of the web wallet. So you can use this wallet to check the balance for the Toro, for the other digital currencies and other tokens. We also have other functionalities like allow you to do the transaction directly through the wallet. Not only check the balance, okay, you can send the Toro with this wallet to another account. And we also have something called the name services, okay, so which we will discuss later on. And in addition to the web wallet, we also have the wallets available on the mobile platforms. So we also have a mobile wallet here, and which is also available on Android and on iOS platforms. So the functionalities are also similar. Okay, you can check the balance. You can do some client transaction. So that is the wallet, and the next one is like a topic regarding like how we handle the address. We call the address management. Let's see. On the Toronet right now, we support two different ways to manage address. So web wallet, you see it here. When you create it, right? When you click that this button here to create a new address, actually that address and that the address key file, right? The key file is actually stored on the Toronet server. Okay, but it's encrypted. But it will be encrypted by a password. So we will not directly save the private key. So we will basically on the blockchain server, we will save an encrypted key files there. What's the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that by doing this way, the developer do not need to worry about that where this file it is, and we provide the API, a specific API just work with this kind of addresses. Okay, so basically we call them one-step API. What does it mean? That means that we have this API, and you just need to when you call this API, you just need to provide your password in the payload of the API, and then after the API server received this passcode, they will try to directly try to search the address on the server, and then if there's they find the address, they will try to use this passcode to unlock that address on the server, and then to do the corresponding transactions. And there's the advantage and disadvantage of this. The advantage of this is that this relieves the developer responsibility to to safely store the address key file, because this is an issue with many blockchains, right? If someone they lose their key file, they lose their private key, maybe they will lose everything. Okay, they cannot get the things back. By doing this way, if you keep the this key file on our server, so and also all the key files is automatically backed up on the Amazon cloud services. So so it's pretty safe there. Okay, that is the good part. The second part is that the disadvantage part of this one is that some applications, some developers, they may do not like this way, because that this you may feel like why we need to store the address key file on your server, right? So I want to have 100 control over all the address files. That is fine. That is fine, because that we provide all the options here. The second one is that you can actually we also allow that you can also actually to keep all your key file address file locally. Okay, so the developer will be responsible themselves, right, to where safely store those files. And then if they want to make any transaction on the Toronet to interact with some smart contracts, for example, they can also through that what we so-called two-step APIs. Later on, we'll show you that how to using two-step APIs so that you can remotely sign and using the private key, right, remotely to sign your transaction transaction data, and then just submit the data, the raw data you already signed through this two-step APIs. We'll show you there. Okay, so the advantage of this one is that it's basically the server has no idea, okay, what your what your address, what the data there. So you just do everything locally, okay, on your side. So we have the two different ways. And before we go to the API, there's one more thing is that we also have a service called the Toronet name services. What does it, and then we just did label it as TNS. What does it mean? That means is that we all know that the blockchain address, right, is just a long string and very hard for people to remember. So we provide these name services so that you can actually will allow that you can assign a unique name to an address. For example, right, if I have an address, I can call this address Toronet administrator. Okay, and then we will on the server, right, we will establish a one-to-one mapping, like for this unique name to this address. And then later on, when you try to use the web wallet or using the one-step APIs, anytime, right, for those arguments in the API, or when you're using the web wallet, for example, you see this the input wallet here, right? If you already have a name service linked to the address, you can directly input the name for that address here, and then you can still log in with the name directly. And also when you do the transaction, okay, with web wallet, right, I want to send the Toro to some address, okay, and if that address I know their name, I can directly to say, okay, send money, send Toro to somebody that's by name. So this is called the name services, and but there's a limitation for this. Okay, so this this services is only valid for those addresses stored on our Toronet server. So if Toronet server do not have this address, okay, you use it because we have two different ways, right? So if you have your blockchain address saved locally, then you will not have this functionality support. And where we can set the name, you can set the name on the web wallet. I don't know how, this screen is very small. So screenshot is kind of small. You see that there's a menu button on the very left, the second from the last. You will see the name service, and this is the interface that you can, to link a name, unique name, right? We have a requirement that this name cannot be too short, it cannot be the reserved names. Okay, you can assign a unique name to this to one of the address you have. Or we also have the API allow that you can directly to link a name to an address. You can also do that. So this is the TNS. And then let's talking about the framework of the Toronet. When I say the framework, means that the smart contract, the official Toronet smart contract already supported by already deployed there. First one, let's talking about the Toro. As many of you already know that the Toro is the default token of the Toronet. So first thing we need to know that it's a stable coin, so it has a one-to-one mapping to the US dollar, and Toronet team will Toronet trustee board, okay, will make sure that we have the reserve one-to-one we have the reserve on the bank account, right, to back up all the Toro circulated Toro on the network. And then the second one, you also need to know that anytime when we do a transaction of Toro, okay, so there will be a system-wide transaction fee. For example, so address A, they transfer like 100 Toro to the address B, and the amount of Toro actually received by the address B will be a little bit smaller, like 99 something pound something. Okay, that small things disappeared. It's not actually disappeared. Okay, that small deduction is actually the transaction fee. And you may wondering how much the transaction fee will be. So we do have the API. I can show you later on. Okay, so you can query what the transaction fee will be. And also more important, we also provide a tool for you, an API call for you, so that before you do any transaction, we do have another call to allow you to get an estimation. Okay, you can know that what the transaction what kind of transaction fee was going to be. Okay, before you do the transaction, you will know that. So we do have an API call to calculate the transaction fee for you, even before the transaction start. And we also have other digital currencies, and other tokens available on the Toronet. So they are all capable to be converted to Toro. So Toro is like the center. That's is actually in the center stage of the whole ecosystem. So all the other digital currencies that we have on the Toronet, all the other tokens, okay, they are all be able to be converted to or converted from Toro. Okay, Toro is like the one in the center stage. And also the one more thing is that like the Toro token is actually ERC20 compatible. When we say ERC20 compatible, that means that all the ERC20 functionalities, right, is supported by Toro. But definitely, right, we have much more features available than the ERC20. And the last thing, the Toro can be directly purchased or withdrawn, okay, with the real world currency. Okay, so if you if you are a customer, right, want to invest the Toro, okay, for example, they want to spend some Naira to get a Toro, okay, we also have the tool there, allow them to through their bank account, okay, to to spend the real currency and to get the Toro. We have the tool for that. So that is Toro. The next one is the digital currencies. So we also on the Toronet, we also support this is digital fiat currencies and digital cryptocurrencies. Why we do this? Because that sometimes a lot of applications they may not only work with Toro. There's many applications they also work to support many different kind of currencies or different kind of cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we provide this digital all these digital kind of currencies, so make it easier for them to build a application, right? To show when the application is used by the customer, so they can see that, oh, this application actually not only support Toro, they also support that other currencies, other Bitcoins, other cryptocurrencies. And when we do this, right, the way we can handle this is on the Toronet is that we do have a real-time exchange rates update. Okay, so on our server, we have like this exchange rate updated, every few minutes. Okay, so that we do have the exchange rate, for example, between the Bitcoin to USD dollar, between the Ethereum to USD dollar. We have to have a exchange rate there at real time. Okay, and of course we have the API available, for people to query that what's the exchange rate right now. And again, all these digital currencies and digital cryptocurrencies, they are available to be converted to Toro or be converted back from Toro. They all support that. And again, okay, no matter the transaction within the same currency or the transaction between different kind of currencies, we also have a system-wide transaction fee for that. And all these digital currencies, they are all, again, ERC20 compatible. Okay. And the last one is some other kind of tokens. So currently on the Toronet, except the Toro, we also have some other tokens, like for example, is SPs. And the reason we do this is that for some large scale application, okay, some developer, they may want their standalone, they may want their independent ecosystem. Okay, so they say that I want my application to use a token different with other application. Okay, remember Toro is like the default currency, right? So all the applications they can access to it. But what about that? This application say that I just want to have my own token. Okay, so this is fine. We also support that. So we can help the developer to deploy their token, and that token is also like Toro-like. So all the functionality available to Toro is also available for that token. And again, those tokens can be exchanged to or exchanged from Toro. Yeah, okay. But we need to realize that this kind of new token deployment and maintenance, right, will be done by the Toronet team. Okay, basically the developer will not able to arbitrarily to deploy their ERC20 token. This is not allowed. Why? Because that again, the Toronet is designed for business purpose. Okay, so the security and is very important in this sense. So we need to ensure that all the token developed on the Toronet, deployed on the Toronet, okay, they are 100 secure. Okay, there are no loophole there. Okay, there are no like the bugs. Okay, so that's the reason they will be deployed and maintained directly by the Toronet team. But again, the developer can can provide their requirement, right? So they can give their specific requirement to the Toronet team. Like say, I want this additional functionality. Okay, I want this additional, different, for example, exchange rate, with other with Toro. We can, this can be done, also can be done by the Toronet team based on the requirement of the, based on the requirement of the developer. And also very important, okay, since that this token, standalone token is maintained by the Toronet, so we do need a mutual agreement between the Toronet team and the third party company. The reason for that is that because we provide the service, okay, and then we have the responsibility. So we also will ask the the counterpart, right? My counterpart also takes some kind of responsibility. So we do need some mutual agreement before we are able to do this. And again, okay, after we deploy this standalone token, we will also provide the API support for it. Okay. So that is the so all these three things, the Toro token, the digital currency, and the other kind of tokens, this is like the frame of the basic framework of the Toronet. And then let's go to the tools. Let's talk about the tools, like we can interact with all this all these functionalities. So the major tools we have is the API. Okay, we do have the an API site, okay, available on the Postman collection to demonstrate how to use the API, right? For both for both testnet and the mainnet, we do have that. Okay, so for so the ones that the API I show you here is one example. Okay, so this is using the HTTP GET, and this is like anytime when we use the HTTP GET in the API side, it means it's actually a view function. Okay, so it just query the data from the blockchain, and this is a view function, like try to check the balance of the one address, and you can see the the URL on the top, and then under the body, right, make sure that the format need to be the raw format, and then the input need to the payload needs to be in the JSON format. And you can see here, right, all the API is basically including two parts. The first part, OP, means operation, right? So they basically will tell that what function you want to call, and parameters means that the input of the function. Okay, you need to tell that for each input, like this input argument is address, what the value it is, and then you just call it, and it will on the when this request get the response. The response will also be in the JSON format. It will tell you that whether or not the query is successful, and then what the result in the balance, and then we will also provide a message, okay, to explain what the meaning of the result. And we also have the one-step transaction functions. Remember that we have two ways to manage the address, right? So this one-step APIs means that this is for those APIs for the blockchain address saved on the server. Okay, so because that the blockchain is already saved on the server, as you can see here, right, we are going to use an HTTP post to do the transaction. You have the function. This function will transfer the Toro from one client, right, from the client from this client to another address too. So you provide the argument to who you are, your address, and then who you want to transfer the Toro to, and then you also provide the client password, what the password you use, and what the value, okay, how much of Toro you want to use. So there's then after the Toronet API server receive this request, they will try to use this password, try to go to our the list of the address, right, and try to find this address here and try to use this password to unlock this address to make this transaction happen. Okay, and then when if the transaction succeed, they will tell you that what the transaction ID, transaction receipt will be. And if the transaction failed, so this example shows that if the transaction is failed, then they will also give you that, tell you that transaction is failed, and then you will also see that what the error message will be. You will know that why it failed. Okay, one more thing I want to let you know is that remember that if you are familiar with the Ethereum, on Ethereum, right, usually when we do the transaction, the amount of transaction is in the unit of V. When we say the V, right, it means that that's 10 to the power 18. Okay, so just remember that all the value, all the numbers in the API, right, are not in the unit of V. Okay, because Toro also support 18 digits. Okay, so all the number in the API, right? For example, in this case, we see the 2 here. This just means 2 Toro. This just means 2 Toro. Okay, you do not need to when you call the API, you do not need to like convert from a wave convert to wave. That is not required. Okay, all the value here is already in the unit of Toro. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is the one-step API. We also have the two-step APIs. So what the two-step API is doing? This is designed for the situation that if you want to hold your blockchain address file locally and you want to sign the transaction locally, not through our server. So this needs 2 steps. So the first step is that you're using the same. I also want to do the transfer in this example here, but now I will change the HTTP post to the HTTP GET, and then as in the payload, as you can see here, there are no requirement. You do not need to provide the password, and when you do this query, the server will prepare the transaction payload for you. So this you can see that this data here is the bytecode transaction payload for you. And after you finish this call, you get this payload. The developer can write their own code. This is one of the example. They can using any third-party code. They can run this code locally, and they using their own private key they unlock from their address to sign. Okay, to sign this transaction data. After it finishes assigning this transaction data, right? They will get a signed data here, signed payload raw data here. So then we call the API the second time. You call using a post, right, and using this endpoint called the API raw. You just directly to send this raw data, and this data already signed by the private key locally. Okay, and then they will also do the same transaction transfer functionality there. So this is called the two-step transaction method. And as you can see here, the reason we call it two-step means that you need to call the API twice. The first one, you query the API to prepare the payload data, and then you sign the data remotely, and then you call the API the second time using post to post this already signed raw data. Okay. And after that, we will have we have many API functions here. So let me show you. Okay, we have the key store API, so which will allow you to create an address and get the key, verify the key. You can update your password. So all these key store APIs is for the if you want to create or save the key field on our Toronet server. Okay, and then we also have the regular blockchain API side. This will allow you, if you want to query using API to query some blockchain status, what the latest block, what the detailed information for the block, what the details of the transaction, and you want to query receipt, or if you get a failed transaction, and if you want to find that what the reason that is failed, you can also use this cost to get the information there. We have the TNS. TNS, remember, TNS is the Toronet name service. Okay, you can also use an API to see that if there is a name already assigned to an address, or if you know the name, right, you want to get its corresponding address, or if you want to check if this name is already used or this address already assigned with the name and so on, you can also do that. Okay, and then we also have the this is CL here, right? Anytime you see CL in the endpoint, that means client call. Okay, so the client also directly the customer, the client can directly also call this. They can cite it using call the site name, right? If they want to assign a name to their address, or they can update their name. So for example, right, I already assigned my address with the name owner, sorry, super administrator. Then maybe I can update it to another name called super administrator, whatever. Okay, or if you want to delete the name linked to the address. And also, as you can see, right, for each post call, right, also there is the same version of a get call, and this is for the things I mentioned here. Okay, we also have a two-step version for it. Okay, so that you can call it to just prepare the payload for it. So that's the reason that for each one you have the one-step post call and then you also have a corresponding two-step get call there. For the Toro, you can get the balance, you can get the name, symbol, and the number of decimals for the Toro. And we also have the allowance. So what is the allowance means? Allowance means that on the system wide, we also have a limitation that what's the maximum and minimum amount you are allowed to, to do the transfer. Okay, so we cannot allow you to transfer like a Toro like 0.00001 Toro. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so you can use this one to query that what's the limitation there. Okay, and then we also have the transaction fee here. The transaction fee is computed by two parts. We have a fixed transaction fee. We also have a transaction fee based on the percentage. So the final transaction fee we're using this two, right? The larger one. Why we do this? Because that we want that the system is not spoiled, that people just do the transaction for the very small amount. So so this fixed transaction fee just want to make sure that even you transfer with a very super small amount of the Toro, we will still charge a corresponding fee. So by this way, we can avoid that the abuse, use of this API transactions cost. Okay, and you also have the client call for the transfer. So this will allow that to transfer Toro from one account to another one. And then this one is very important, the calculate the transaction fee. So this is what I mentioned earlier, that before you do the transfer, you can actually call this one before the transaction start. You can know that what the transaction fee will be. You can use this one. We also have the other different kind of currency API for different currencies. And here I just use the dollar as an example. Okay, so for other currencies like euro, British pound, or naira, Kenya shilling. Okay, and they are all similar. Okay, we have the view calls, right? Allow you to see the to get the balance, to get the get the exchange rate. So this will tell you that what the current exchange rate right now to the Toro. And then you also have the allowance, and you can know that what the maximum minimum amount allowed to do the transaction. Same thing for the transaction fee. And also for this one, you also have the buy fee and sell fee. What does it mean? Buy fee means that if you want to convert Toro to this to this digital dollar, okay, we also charge some kind of fee. Sell fee means that if you want to sell the dollar back to Toro, okay, we also have some kind of system-wide transaction fee here. So you can get the fee rate here. And then on the client side, okay, they can call the transfer. This transfer means that they want to transfer dollars, the same dollars from one address to another address. We also provide a buy Toro and a sell Toro functions, which means that buy Toro means that I want to convert a dollar to Toro, and the sell Toro means that we want to sell dollar back to Toro, sell Toro back to dollar. And again, right, for each one we have the calculated buy fee and the calculated sell fee. Basically, before the transaction happen, you will know that what kind of fee will be. Okay, the fee will paid by dollar, okay, not by Toro. And then we also have provide another tool for here for the calculated buy result, the calculated sell result. So this one means that because we have this keep changing exchange rate, right? So you can make this call before the transaction to know that with the current exchange rate, right? So how much of Toro I can buy. For example, if I spend like $100, 100 naira, right? You can using this one to know that how much Toro you can get. Okay, same thing. Okay, we have this sell result, right? You can, before the sale start, you can know that how much, even you sell Toro, how much of naira you can get. And we also have the API later on to show you that how to do the. We also have the API allow you to directly to purchase Toro, right, with your credit card, with your PayPal, with your bank account. Okay, and also we also have the API allow you to withdraw Toro. Okay, so now I want to catch the Toro to the dollar, catch the Toro to naira, to my bank account, to my PayPal account, for example. Okay, and we also have the API for that. So I will leave that part later on to Dr. Alabi to give you the details. Let me continue. So now we conclude the APIs, and let's talk about the remaining tools available to the developer. We have the RPC available. So we have the official RPCs available for both the testnet and mainnet. So this is the URL where you can connect to the RPC of the testnet at mainnet and testnet here. And just remember that we do the RPC. If you want to directly unlock those account already on the server, remember we have some address key files saved on the server, and if you want to unlock those addresses saved on the server with RPC, this is not allowed. Why? Because that for security reason, because RPC do not support sessions. Okay, so if we will allow this, then someone else, we will have a risk to leak the private the very important user data here. So it's not allowed. And but you can still using RPC to communicate with to interact with the smart contract already deployed there. Okay, so you can, so if you unlock your account locally, okay, you can still use RPC that to make those smart contract calls through the RPC. That is okay. And also remember that because all the contracts, right? Because all the Toro token and all the digital currencies and other tokens, they are ERC20 compatible. So actually you can actually use the third-party wallets with those currency token. So for example, actually you can use MetaMask. Okay, you provide this RPC. You can provide this RPC endpoint in the MetaMask. You provide the address for those contracts. Okay, and in the MetaMask you can see. You can see check the balance and do the transaction directly within the MetaMask for Toro and for other currencies, digital currencies supported. And also because all the smart contract is the ERC20 compatible, and then it's also possible for developer to directly interact with this token currencies on the smart contract level. What do I mean is that we do have the interface. Is the ERC20 interface available for the Toro? So this is the ERC20 interface for the Toro available. So when you write a smart contract, you can import this interface, okay? And then we will provide you the contract address, and then you can directly to use this call, Toro call inside your smart contract. This is also feasible. And one last thing is that we also have the smart contract deployment tool, and which because that, as you can see here, right, after the developer they write their own smart contract and they want to deploy on our Toronet, right? How they do that? So we with the help of Alabi, Alabi, so he's very helpful for this tool to develop this tool, and so we have this tool available. Although right now it's still a beta version, okay, so we will keep improving it. So with this tool, right, you can choose that if we want to deploy the smart contract on the testnet, on the mainnet, or when you do the deployment, right, you want to deploy using the smart contract code directly, or you already have the compiled API and the bytecode. Okay, you can choose which one you want to do the deployment. For example, if we want to deploy the smart contract directly from the testnet, you just click the testnet, we will bring you this interface, and then you just paste your contract code here. And on the contract name here, you need to type that which contract you want to deploy, because that one smart contract code maybe contain many contracts, right? So we want to know that which contract you want to deploy. And then on the bottom, we also have an input allow you to input the argument, okay, for your contract constructor, because some smart contract the constructor will take some argument. So you can also input your argument here, and then you just click submit. And when if the submission is successful, the tool will return you both the API, the compiled API, and also the deployed address. Okay. And if it failed, is there any error happens? Okay, they will show you an error message here. The last thing, okay, the local nodes. Okay, the reason we call it blockchain is because that anybody can build can create a node, right? Can create a peer to interact. So we also allow the developer to run their own node, right? So if you want 100% transparency of the data, right, you can just run your own local nodes. Okay, so we provide the tools. We have tools available, to allow the user to to set up their own chain, then blockchain nodes. And but you need to know that your local node will have some limitation here. Okay, these are the two major limitations. The first one, your local nodes is not available, are not allowed to seal new blocks because that our blockchain, right, is a private chain. Okay, only the we use this we use Toronet as a stable coin, right? Only those trustee members who already back up our stable coin. Okay, they are allowed to to set up their their own node to allow to sealing new blocks. The second limitation is that you will not allow to deploy the smart contract. Why? Because that as I mentioned, right? So the security is very important to our ecosystem. Okay, we cannot allow any people just arbitrarily to deploy their smart contract. If their smart contract has can directly interact with Toro, and then there's some security issue there, then it may be harmful to the whole system. So we will have a controlled procedure here, okay, on the especially for the midnight. If you want to deploy some smart contract, you need to go through review process with our team, and then if we make sure that you are ready, then we will provide you we will from this tool here, we will provide an authorization code so you can deploy the smart contract on the midnight. And again, right, so because you have the local node, but you can still directly interact with this local node through the IPC, through RPC, right? You can open the RPC portal, you can open IPC portal on this node and locally, okay? So you can use your application, right? If you want to build a server for this, that is totally fine, okay? And you can interact your smart contract already deployed there with this local node. That's no problem. Okay, so here I conclude the this technical review, right? What the resources available for the Toronet developer. So I will leave the Q&A section to Dr. Alabi to answer all your questions. Okay, thank you for listening to my presentation.
Yeah, just one quick thing, right? Just to summarize, so there are several ways you can integrate. You can integrate to our existing APIs that we provide. You can deploy your own contract through the deploy interface that Dr. Li showed. You can deploy your own smart contract if you run a node. And thirdly, you can use RPC. So that's a summary of those three methods. All right, questions, Odafe?
Okay, good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to ask, through the deployer interface, the constructor part, I want to I'm not really sure how it should be formatted in that part, because every time I try to impute the constructor arguments, they said in JSON form, so it keeps giving me an error. I wanted to know if that is like a sample that I could see, so I could compare it to what I have.
Interesting. So what error does it give you? Oh, no, thank you for that question. What error does it give you when you do the deployer?
Well, it says constructor. The error is coming from, because I tried to check it on the console because I was not seeing anything when I clicked deploy. So the error was coming from the. I tried to check it on the console. So you get
okay.
Let me just give me a minute. Let me check. Let me pull it up.
And you can actually copy and paste it in the chat too.
Okay. So it says.
Emmanuel, can you do me a favor as well? Can you copy and paste the Telegram link here so that because we can also take this if we don't resolve this here.
I think you're on the Telegram link. You're on the Telegram link. I think I've seen you there.
No, I am on, but some of our developers are not on. For instance, I want Laurie to be able to join. So that's why I'm saying if you post the link, he will be able to join as well.
Yeah, so that's the Telegram link. I sent it.
Thank you.
So yeah, basically just giving me a syntax error. That's what it gives me. So I just want to know.
Error.
Yes, sir.
Shouldn't be too bad.
I just want to know what format I should put the constructor in.
Oh, you didn't paste it in the chat.
Good day. Let me can
Laurie?
I please see what the construction? Yeah, can I please see the
Okay.
constructor you are trying to paste and the yes.
Okay. I'm not on my PC right now. I'm using my phone, but I'm looking at my PC, so that will not be very easy.
Okay, so it's
Okay,
this syntax error.
Yes, sir.
What are you, there's a way, okay, there's a way you pass in data into the constructor. You have officially there was a checker for it to bring out an error because of the type, but then when it comes to type address, there's an issue with it. So I just removed the checker personally, but it's somewhere. I kept it somewhere. So if you are sending an address, a string, you can send all data as a form of string into it, including numbers. Just send it as strings. Because
Okay.
if you have used any smart contract tooling before, you always send it to string when you're sending to smart contracts, sort of big numbers.
Okay.
Unless you have like a couple of big numbers, that's the reason why you have to send to string. Unless you know the hash code for the number, then you can definitely put it as just can just put it as that.
Okay. Okay, I'll try that now.
Please do.
Thank you very much for that. Any other question? Please, I feel everyone on this call should be on Telegram channel, but if you're not, please, I dropped it in the comment section, so please just join me. I think there's been somebody answering lately, Enoch. So
Yes, thank you, Enoch. Enoch has been helping most of you out. So, but we'll also get other resources online as well, because we have capabilities in different disciplines. So, deployment, you can get also different kinds of help. Ayuba, you have a question.
Yeah, Ayuba, you can unmute yourself. Alaya, you can drop your hand. Sure, Ayuba. Please unmute. I think you are unmuted. Just speak.
Ayuba, we can't hear you yet.
I think he has a network-ish. So any final words from Dr. Ken, so we can just close the session.
Okay. Yeah, Ayuba, since we can't hear you, if you go to the Telegram, the link is up here. Please join the Telegram and ask the question there, and we'll find a way to help you out.
I think you should just do that. Okay. Oh, so you can just give a final words then.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining. Like Emmanuel said at the beginning, this is an ongoing session. With the completion of this technical question, we expect everybody, we've done the idea session, we've done the earlier presentation explaining what Toronet is about. And now we've done the technical session. So we expect you guys will be able to go ahead and start building. And the next step from here is the ongoing interaction between us, and then you'll submit. The submission requirements also are on the registration page. And once you submit, we'll go through the evaluations and we'll make all the selections of all the projects. One thing that actually isn't on the page there is, irrespective of the projects that are going to be first, second, or third, we believe every project that submits does a viable submission will actually also receive our governance tokens. So that's one of the things that wasn't in the announcement, but it's something we do, because like I said, Toronet is a community, and once you build on this platform, we see you as part of our community, and we're hoping that if your project is good and well built, you'll continue that journey on our platform. I think that's everything I have to add.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ken. James, this is time to go to work. We've done to the realization session. We're done with that. Today, another technical session. The video recording will be available max 24 hours. That's by tomorrow. It should be uploaded on the YouTube channel so you have access to it. And if there are any questions, please use the Telegram channel. Even if you use the Discord, I would always see the message in Discord and reach out to the necessary authorities that can help answer those questions. So please join Telegram, ask your questions. Some of you say you need the Toronet test tokens. The steps for that has been uploaded, on the Telegram. So just go up through the chat. I can try to check it out. If you need it, just tag me. I can pin it, and so that you can. It's quite simple, so that you can know how to get the test token. So thank you very much for showing up for today's call, and we look forward to the interesting and applicable projects that are going to come out, and have a lovely time building. So bye everyone.